G'day traders, welcome to wrap up of Thursday 28th of June. So we've got the daily chart here, and this red candle is the one we're looking at here. So again, we've got two quite strong support and resistance lines. Actually, I might draw them in today and take a bit of time just to focus on what's happening here on the daily chart. So let me just quickly draw that in there, just draw some rough lines. So we've got one there, and there's another one about here as well. Yeah, they're quite rough. Okay, so now, just to explain a bit, we've pushed down to set up like where we are now. Always looking at a bit of a longer term, and obviously pushing down here. We're in a seller's market. We're popping up. Then we push down lower. All this time we're in a seller's trend. We've left this significant bit of a swing point here. Once we start coming back and popping up above that, that's really quite significant. And I guess it hasn't confirmed that the buyers are just going to take over, but it's all of a sudden a changing of the trends, and potentially something's coming. The market's then come back again and popped up higher for a second time. That's a real confirmation that we're in a buyer's trend. To do that twice like that shows power with the buyers. Okay, so and then we're coming down now, and you can see it's bouncing off this 1300 level, and you can see twice we hovered around it here. We definitely came back, and this is where the kind of buyers launched themselves from to really break that area a second time, and that's confirming that this is quite a strong support area there, and now we're bouncing off it again. Then of course we've got this 1330 level, which is it's held the markets down, then held the markets up. It's tested a few times, and it's becoming quite a strong point in the market. So as we're popping up here, we're definitely in a buyer's trend. Now we're coming back, we're holding off 13.2. We then got bounced back down by the resistance level. So what happened with this candle here, starting off today, expected the market to possibly come down, get some sort of support around here, and look for the buyers to hold and then push higher. So that's pretty much what's happened. Just overall, you can see the market's come down. We haven't quite got to 1302 level, but we definitely got close, and the market's found enough support then to start heading back up. The thing about that daily chart is, but you don't have to necessarily look at it in that much depth. I don't make it a major part of my what I decide to do, but what I do look at it is go, okay, what side of the market has a little bit more weight bearing, and I'll definitely put a little bit more weight with the buyers. Looking at a significant support, like if it started breaking down under 1300, then I'm really going to change my tune and go, okay, the sellers are in control here. And another thing too I look at is go, okay, is it likely that we're going to get two-sided action? So with this particular area, we can see we're bouncing between these lines. It's not like we're breaking a significant point. If all of a sudden we broke under 1300, then tomorrow or the day after, you might go, okay, we've broken that significant level, there's a chance it's going to keep on going. That might be a one-directional day. But while we're between levels, there's nothing really major happening. Expect both buyers and sellers, and that's the main thing. And 80% of the time we do get buyers and sellers. I'd say roughly 80% of the time, and that's good for day trading. So just to set up these markets here, we've had this very sideways range to start off with. You had a closer look. We started pushing down in this area here, then we started coming back here and putting some pressure on some levels here, the predictives crossing up. It's an area where you could find the market kind of holds it and pushes through as long as all the other markets are there with it. The thing is, with this open, the markets weren't together. Some of the markets were going up, and the Nasdaq was just absolutely flying on the downside, so there's no cohesion between the markets there, so you've got to be very careful and try to pick an early trend. So certainly that one didn't have any sort of faith in that. The market then pushed down, popped up, some artificial news or some unscheduled news came out, so as a result we're getting these massive candles. You can see it on the 1 minute chart here. So this type of area here just really wanted to kind of break out and pick a trend or direction and settle down before we start looking at any trades. From there we started pushing down, looking for the market then to come back and decide whether it's going to grip and hold and push lower, or start heading up and forming a new trend. From here you can see it's held at this 1314 area. That's a resistance level, which is the bottom of this range here. So when you see something like that, the market come back, hold the bottom of the previous range, it's normally a good sign for the current trend, which is the sellers, and likelihood of it going back down and at least having a look at the previous lows. From there we've got a 5 minute sell here. Let me just update the chart. There we go, just refresh the chart. So we've got a 5 minute sell here. Now thinking about this area, it was I felt a bit of a 50-50 area. If you watch some of the other markets, it came up here, yes, it held at resistance, and it came down. Didn't really get any power back on the downside. Then it started coming back up like this, and some of the other markets were putting a lot of pressure on this pivot area here. and actually the Dow Jones actually broke through it. So there was real signs that the buyers are coming in and potentially holding it and looking like they maybe want to turn this round and start a new trend. In the end, it has pushed back down, but it was certainly one just to be careful of, and from watching the general price action in other markets, looked like it's potentially wanted to hold. Then it's popped up here, started going back down again. Around here, we'll talk about on the 1 minute chart, there was a bit of a support resistance area there, but once it got underneath, you can see it's popped down like this. It really confirmed that the downside was inevitable, and so this is a lot better 5 minute sell. And from there it started pushing lower and came back and confirmed those lows and actually broke through them for a little bit there. Then turned around and got this upside, so finally the sellers are coming in and having a go. They hadn't had their chance all day. I think they tried to have a bit of a go here, but obviously no push through there, but eventually they've come back here. Once they start breaking up through these levels here, real confirmation that these buyers were going to go. It had a bit of a pullback and then away it went. So over on the 1 minute chart, here's this power fade here on the upside that normally has potential. The 5 minute predictors crossing up at the same time. So if you see all the markets sitting at this point and breaking these opens and all looking like they were just ready to go, it's a great area to get on and catch the new trend. But the fact was today there wasn't that cohesion. Some of the markets were down, some of the markets up, so it's a very one to be careful of, and as a result it's created a bit of a toing and throwing action. This is this news related area. Technically there's a 5 minute sell here. It's one I wasn't really interested in just because the market was so volatile. It was a bit too risky for myself, but you can argue that the market's popped here, held, and it's an area where if it's going to put some pressure on this point here and break that area, it would have kept on going. So in hindsight, not too bad a power fade, but again quite an out there one, and one that you've got to take a little bit of risk taking it, but still a solid area. From there we pushed down and made these lows. So it's through here that we started to get some holding formation. So we popped up here, held this at the resistance line, looking at a 5 minute sell, but as the 5 minute sell approached, we're all of a sudden getting these markets. See how it's come up here, come back, then come up and push through this level. What I was looking for was this level here. It's quite close to detail, but looking for this level to hold and then push lower and expect the 5 minute sell to work. Just didn't see that that's the case. It pushed a bit higher. The Dow Jones actually broke up at this point here as well, so for that reason there's a fair bit of buying pressure, but in the end it turned around and the area held and pushed lower. But you can see price action was making it a little bit more of a 50-50 area. From there they pushed lower, they've come back up here. You can see through here there's a bit of a low here, market's popped up here, so around this 13-12 area there's definitely a support resistance area, so they're above it. Now see how they got below it, they've jumped up, hit the head off it, and come up again, push down through it. So once they pushed down through that and popped up like this is about where the 5 minute sell was. There's real confirmation there that these sellers are going to continue, and they've got underneath this bit of a support level and going with the overall direction of the trend. The thing to remember is, and it's quite a simple one, is the trend your friend. Everyone knows that, but quite often really forget that and kind of always looking for this new trend to start. But the fact is the sellers are around. They've been controlling most of the day, so really prepared to, once it got underneath that resistance area, to really go with it. So it was a good 5 minute selling area there. From there, then the markets started pushing low, even through this pullback here. Again, it's popped up and it's at 13.12. It's held the market back down again. So any sort of PowerPoint round here hasn't quite got there. It was one tick short, but again, that's a fantastic area for selling. You might argue it's getting a little bit extended, but certainly the sellers are in control, and it was very likely it was going to go back down. Have a look at its lows again. From there, the momentum really started to change. Pressure changed. You don't. Personally, I'm not looking to get in right here at the very beginning. Looking for it to pop up and start breaking, sort of this level here or this level here. Once it did that, it confirmed the upside. And you can see it's gone. It's popped back, and then launched itself on the upside here, and away it went. And the buyers really took control and was quickly back to the highs again. So that's a wrap up for Thursday. I'll speak to you guys Friday.